cannot come before the horse. The horse must come before the car. And what is the horse? Fair hearing. And the cat is the accelerated hearing. You cannot have any criminal trial without fair hearing. That is the point we are trying to make. And this message is being sent loud and clear to the Federal Republic of Nigeria and to the Nigerian judiciary. Thank you very much for coming, and you have a nice day. It reflects what Barrister Maxwell said, reflects the common position of all the lawyers here, the position of the MNK legal team. This legal team is not going to be part of the travesty of justice that is being cooked in the pot. If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not going to get a fair trial, this legal team is not going to be part of murdering justice in a Nigerian court over the head of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It does not mean we are going to abandon Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, but we will, as a group, as a team, abandon a process. We will refuse to be participants in a process that is geared to pre-program the injustice on the head of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Let that be clear. So it does not sound like we are going to boycott Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. No. If you want to say we shall boycott the judiciary, you can use that. But what we are boycotting will be manifest injustice
so
and lack of fair trial.
They can go ahead and convict him without him being. I want the world to know that Nnamdi Kanu is not facing any prosecution. Nnamdi Kanu is facing persecution. Persecution in the sense that since the history of law in Nigeria, it's well established that Nnamdi Kanu is the only defendant in the history of law in Nigeria that does not have adequate time and facility as provided by Section 36 of the Constitution, which gave an accused person right to have adequate time and facility to defend himself. What do I mean? You recall that some time ago, as his lawyer, when I went to have a discussion with him at the DSS, my right was violated, I was intimidated, I was stripped to half naked there in DSS. I rushed back to the Federal High Court and lay my complaint through originating processes. And after looking at all that happened, the court said yes, Nnamdi Kanu's rights was violated, granted all my reliefs, and directed the DSS to apologize to us and stop intimidating us and to pay me 5 million naira. That particular judgment was not appealed against. That particular judgment is still subsisting and valid. Now, we took the same application to the same Federal High Court, stating the reasons why Nnamdi Kanu should be taken away from DSS. DSS is a prosecution. You don't need to have a law degree for you to know that you can never be a judge in your own case. The principle of nemo judice casus. You can never be a judge in your own case. Anytime we went to DSS to have a discussion with our client Nnamdi Kanu, the DSS will set up gadgets, send the officials to come and monitor what we are saying. Right from the gate, they will search us. Whatever documents that the confidential documents that I'm going with to discuss with my client, they will collect it, take it to the legal department. The legal department will read it, photocopy it, before they will hand it over to us. Whatever minutes I collected from Nnamdi Kanu, as I'm coming out, they will collect it from me and snap it. So, in other words, there is no defense. And we have pleaded time without number that, please, if you don't want to release him on bail, send him to Kuje Correctional Center. These are the people that we are trained on how to keep a suspect that is facing trial, and we call them awaiting trial suspects. If you go there, they apply professionalism. They will give you all the necessary materials, provide a secluded place for you to have a discussion with your client. Even those that have been accused of treasonable felony, those that are accused of terrorism, they never treated them like this. Not to talk about a freedom fighter, somebody that is fighting a just cause. Now we approach the same Federal High Court. The same Federal High Court refused to hear our application. I am talking about Honorable Justice Minta Nyago. Several applications has been made. In fact, one of them, he said that I'm not going to hear what happened in the other court. He said it. Now, on the last adjourned date, we are crying. Look at our predicament. Somebody that is going to face the trial. We are about to commence trial in line with the Supreme Court judgment. Can you direct these people? Can you direct that Nnamdi Kanu should be transferred to Kuje prison? He refused. She refused. She refused. Only to tell us that there is no security in Kuje prison. Quoting the judge. You pressmen were there on that day. Now, you are now telling us that if Nnamdi Kanu is convicted for whatever charge you have, is he going to serve the prison term at DSS? The answer is no. Now, what it means is that the Captain Nnamdi Kanu there so that Nnamdi Kanu will not have a very fortified defense. This thing you must let the world know, because I saw one person, though I don't want to call him a journalist because I know those who are journalists. He wrote in social media that Nnamdi Kanu don't want to face trial. These are our challenges. That one is on that. Remember that the Supreme Court also said, after admonishing the judge, I don't want to use the word after insulting the judge, I don't want to use it. I prefer to use the word after admonishing the judge, said that the judge ought not have revoked his bail. And in the first instance, in other words, impliedly, Supreme Court has reinstated that bail and asked the court to make the pronouncement. But that is where I have an issue, because you don't destroy our jurisprudence because of Nnamdi Kanu. Without Nnamdi Kanu, there must be Nigeria. With or without Nnamdi Kanu. So you don't whatever thing that you are stating today is going to be a precedent. Now the question there is that what stops Supreme Court judges from exercising their power under Section 6 that gives them unlimited power to reinstate that bail? They referred us to Federal High Court. Now we went to Federal High Court as a surplusage to apply for the bail. The bail was rejected. Now we have made fresh application asking the court to comply with the Supreme Court. Remember that time when I addressed you people, I told you that what happened in that court that day is an act of Federal High Court setting aside the judgment of the Supreme Court. You don't do it.
The rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria. We are all aware that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, after the attack on him by the military of the Nigerian government, had to flee Nigeria for his life to Kenya. Unfortunately, in that attack in his hometown at Afaruku, so many people were murdered by the Nigerian military. Not less than 28 persons died on that particular day in the hands of the Nigerian military. And these are young men and women who had no arms on them, who were in a private compound of the late chief of Afaruku. After the attack on the property, killing people, the occupants, including Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, his parents, that's the traditional ruler of Afaruku, and the wife, had to flee, amongst other persons that managed to escape. But like we are saying, 28 persons died on that particular day. After that day, so many other people died, including the parents of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And this is as a result of the injuries, the shock that was inflicted on them by the Nigerian military that attacked the compound of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And the Supreme Court, in its judgment of 15 December 2023, has confirmed this position, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's escape was not an escape from justice, but rather was a natural action taken by a human being who is aware that his life is imminently in danger. He had to run away to save his life so as to be able to stand his trial in our courts. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was eventually kidnapped from Kenya and brought back to Nigeria against every known law, both locally and internationally. They also showed very grave disrespect to the Kenyan authority and to the nation of Kenya. Unfortunately, the Kenyan government appeared to be docile about the breach of their territorial integrity by the security agencies of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who came into their country and kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We strongly believe, just as the Supreme Court has also upheld, that what transpired in Kenya was an international crime. It is not just a civil matter, it is a criminal matter committed by the Federal Republic of Nigeria using its agents and agencies. The federal government or the Federal Republic of Nigeria, if it was a human being like myself and my colleagues here, ought by now to be in prison. Nigeria as a country, if Nigeria was a human being, ought by now to be detained in a very, very strong maximum security prison for committing the crime of kidnap. They are nothing less than Shekarau of the infamous Boko Haram.
Yes, we are welcome back. The lawyers representing our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they vowed and threatened to pull out of this case, but they are not abandoning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, but they want to show their anger towards the judicial system of Nigeria by pulling out of this case if DSS continue their rubbish shenanigans. So this is where we're going to stop. Please share this message across. Thank you. God bless you all. Bye.